Hey everybody, Mike Lawson here. Listen, today I want to go over the three greatest secrets of achievement. And I was at a seminar, it was actually Darren Hardy talked about the three greatest secrets of achievement, actually at a convention that was done for a company I was with a few years ago. And I was just going over some things. I was actually listening to some stuff, and this kind of just popped up, and then I started going through some old notes, and this came up. So I just wanted to share it with you. And the number one greatest secret of achievement is to learn to love failure. Now, what's crazy about that is, and you hear all the successful people and all the successful entrepreneurs and multimillionaires say, you gotta love to learn failure. But this is where most people get stopped when they fail, when they try something and they fail, or they try something and their friends laugh at them, or they don't experience a good result. Most people stop. That's why when they, if you want to be an entrepreneur and you go out on your own, let's say you're not an entrepreneur, you want to go out on your own and you try something and it doesn't work or it doesn't happen right away, you feel like a failure. So, most people just want to stick to a 9-to-5, something that's comfortable. Well, listen, you got to learn to love failure. I told you guys my story about, losing $30,000 in my first business. I mean, I was devastated. It was horrible. And if somebody would have told me to love that experience, I was devastated. So, but you got to learn to love failure in the sense that you got to learn from it. No different than if it's a failed relationship. As long as you learn something from that experience, it's not a failure. Okay. And one of the things that I was thinking about when I was actually listening to some stuff was, do they still, if you guys have kids, my kids are a little bit older, they're 18 and 16. In sports, do they really give kids participation trophies, right? There's no winners or losers anymore. I mean, that just blows my mind. I haven't experienced going to a soccer game in years or a basketball game in years. Does that really happen? Just comment below. I'm just really curious. But I think that's horrible because kids need to experience losses. Kids need to experience what it's like to fail, especially if every successful entrepreneur, multimillionaire, multi-billionaire is saying the only way they got to where they were at is by failures, right? So a book that I recommend by John Maxwell is Failing Forward. This is one of the first books I read actually when my ice cream business failed the summer of 1999. It was one of the first books I read, and I didn't read it all the way through because it took me a while to grow. Number two, consistency wins every time. Okay, so you need to be consistent no matter what you do, whether it's a diet, whether it's a new job, right? If you get a new job and you're not consistent and you don't go every day, they're going to fire you. If it's a new business, if you're in real estate or your insurance, consistency, doing something every single day, moving your business forward. Consistency wins every time. And, I use the example, I like to work out. So I try to go to gym. My goal this year is to go 5 days a week. Okay, so that's over 70% of the week that I want to go. And the app that I have actually tracks that. But it's being consistent. And listen, I could just pull up into the parking lot and I feel good. Okay, so again, stay consistent no matter what you're doing. I see Tom Dotz has joined. Tom is on a transformation like I was a few months ago. He's rocking it right now. But, listen, stay consistent, okay? Because what's the alternative, okay? Going back to, being average. And you've heard the term before that, practice makes perfect. Well, practice makes permanent, meaning whatever you practice, that's going to make permanent. So you want to make sure that what you're practicing and what you're consistent in is perfect, that you're doing the right thing. And number three, following a formula or a system. No matter what company you're with, no matter what business you're in, there's a system. There's a right way and a wrong way to do things. You follow the system. It's extremely important to follow the system, and here's why. And that you want to learn the system because, the system is there for success, meaning your company or your business or whoever you're learning from, they have already paved the way. They should know what they're doing, right? So you want to follow that system and follow it to a T. Don't try to reinvent the wheel, because when you try to reinvent the wheel, again, it's like baking a cake. And I'm sure you've heard this analogy before. If you haven't, if you ever bake the cake and you leave one of the ingredients out, don't expect that cake to be a cake. I mean, if you don't add flour, okay, it's not going to rise. And in my personal experience, the more that I've worked on myself and staying consistent and reading books and listening to positive things, the more my business grew, the happier I was. So stay consistent in whatever business or whatever venture you're in, stay consistent. And listen, they say that to become an expert or a master takes 10,000 hours, which is the equivalent to 7 years, okay, to become an expert or a master. So listen, if you're in your business or you're in your career or you're in real estate or insurance or whatever business you're in or network marketing, and if you haven't put at least 7 years in yet, well, you're not an expert. And we're talking about 10,000 hours of consistent effort, not, here, an hour there for 7 years. We're talking about 10,000 hours. And I can promise you this, being in the one of the industries that I was in for 15 years, I don't know if I'm an expert, but I've learned a lot. And these are one of the things I've learned. And this really, hit home for me. And just a little bonus tip, okay, is staying active and doing something every day in your business. And one of the things that helped me, because I was so bad on time management, and maybe I'll do another video on time management, is getting a day timer. Make sure that you have a day timer or a planner, and make sure you're writing in it. And I literally save them every year, okay? My kids think I'm crazy, but I can go back from year to year and literally go through my day timer, and I can literally know when I was busy, when I was not busy, what I had going on, plus my memory isn't the best, so I always like to write things down. But get a day timer. And what I like to do is on Sunday evenings, I like to plan out my week. Right? Maybe I'll go into another video and talk about that. But keeping yourself busy every single day, making sure that, if you want to go to the gym, make sure you have that written down every single day. Keep your day timer full. Keep your days full. Okay, and again, learn to love failure. Consistency wins every time, and follow the system. That's all I have for today, guys. Have a great day. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk soon.